Hi, my name is Kayla DeBello-Hoffmann, and this is my faith story. So I grew up in a Catholic church, and if you participate with and belong to a Catholic church, you understand that you're always following the way that they tell you. And when I initially started my faith when I was a kid, I just followed what everybody else told me to do. And from elementary school, first grade, all the way through high school, I went to Catholic schools where I was always told what to do and what to believe when it came to God. So I also, with going to Catholic church, received all of my sacraments and was always going the way that felt that I was instructed to and what was right. And honestly, when I was a kid, I did not like going to church. My favorite part about church was when my family would go to the deli, not too far away from church, every Sunday, and we'd get bagels after church. And that was my favorite part. Church always felt like a chore having to do, and it was always waking up early and getting dressed really nice. And as a kid, I wanted to sleep in and not have to do any of that. So even as much as I didn't necessarily like it at the time, it really ground and gave a good foundation for my faith for when I got older. So we all go through these tough times, right? And I think one of my toughest times when I feel that the devil really had a hold on me was my time in college. Whether it was sex, drugs, alcohol, I was living what I felt to be the college experience. And it wasn't until I moved out with my fiance that I really found my true passion and my true way and relationship with God. So now when I do go to church and have the courage and strength to go to a Catholic church, I almost cry. I cry, and I am just in awe of God and His presence there. It feels as though you're being embraced when you walk in, and that everyone is there to support you, and you can just feel His presence. Now, we all, like I mentioned, tough times, situations. My worst time with the devil, I really feel, was in college, but growing up was very difficult for me, and I did turn a lot to God in that time as well. My parents have been divorced since I was 1 year old, and they both remarried when I was 5 and 7, and I lived with my mom and stepdad, and it was a not great environment to grow up in. I didn't feel that I lived that happy household lifestyle that I felt a lot of other kids that I went to school with were living. And I really got drawn into the issues and relationship between my mother and father. And I didn't really get to see my dad a lot. He's a pilot, and I would only get to see him when it was his weekend and he was off of work, which was very difficult to always line up. So it was really hard for me in those times, but when I was struggling or felt like I was going through a tough time, I always felt like I could turn to God, and God never would give me anything that I could not handle. And I know that's not in the Bible, but it's something that I truly do believe in. So one quote, or prayer, I should say, that my dad always told me growing up that really stuck with me was the Alcohol Anonymous prayer, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I still say that prayer in my almost everyday life. I really feel that that truly speaks to me and helps me get through any tough situation that I might be in. That is essentially my faith story. I think sharing our faith stories with everybody is important because God works in different ways with all of us, and sharing our faith stories really brings all of us together in a way that God really wants. And it's connecting through faith and connecting with other people, learning their experiences, and bringing us all together.